Well, hello, folks. Top Gun here, and I got a good one for you. It's been a while, I know, but I gotta come out of the woodwork every once in a while because I am still here and I am still buying. So, yeah, it's been 2 years that PulseChain has been out. 2 years. 2 years, and we're still all poor. Well, let's have a look at what's going on and why that is. A couple of things to talk to you about today. 2 years in the making. So, come here. There we go. So, here we have the PulseChain chart in all of its agonizing horror. Well, almost. There, I gotta shrink it down. At least the deck screener one from PulseXV1. So, yeah, we spiked very high in that first week, and then we have never got back there. And this is a lot of fancy lines that don't necessarily mean a whole lot. But let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit. This is what our orange one is, our main line of resistance, which we still got some time before we actually kick in the door on it. Right now we're just playing with the localized resistance from that point. We'll see what happens next, but this isn't the chart to look at. All these lines, they mean nothing. Really, we're tied to what's going on with Ethereum, which is still lagging about, even though Bitcoin looks significantly more attractive. Again, ignore all the fancy charting lines. But essentially, we've got Ethereum just lagging behind Bitcoin, kicking some butt. What's going on here? Why is that? Well, let's have a look at the NASDAQ. There we go. Just a little bit different. Here's the NASDAQ. Massive crash we had, almost undone. So, any correlations here? Yeah, a little bit. Alright. Now, let's have a look at the Russell 2000. Alright. It would help if I spell it right, I suppose. Alright, Russell 2000. I don't know what the difference between these is. Let's look at the ITF or ETF. Alright, and over the same timeline, this is the Russell 2000. Now let's have a look at Ethereum again. Well, that looks a lot more familiar, doesn't it? It does, doesn't it? So let's go back to that again. So this is the Russell 2000, basically the shitcoin index of Wall Street. Small cap stocks, which, we're in a bit of a recovery, and there are some people screaming deregulation tomorrow. I don't know if it's really anything to remark about, but they're speculating we're going to see a surge in small caps because of deregulation coming to the markets. And that will kick us off. And when small caps explode, the Russell 2000 takes off. We'll see Ethereum in the alt season pretty much spark as we see rotations, hopefully. But looking at the Russell 2000, we've been in a stall for a while. And this is why we haven't been peaking the new all highs, potentially. So there's a little bit of correlation to this one for Ethereum, and we're pretty much holding on. And again, Sami brings up really good points. The BMI, Business Manufacturing Index. Manufacturing indexes. I thought I could look that up on TradingView. PMI, is that what I wanted? Probably. Let's go back and have a look at the PMI chart, shall we? It's been a long time since I looked at this chart because it's been crappy for a while, and some usually shows it off, so ha ha ha, this is what I get. Yeah, here we go. This is what I wanted. The ISM Purchasing Managers Index. I do believe, yes. Here we go. Alright. So now we can look at this over time a little bit. And anything under 50, just draw a nice big fat line across the 50 mark. Okay, we'll fatten that up. 4 points. Alright, that big red line now. That's telling us exactly what we need to know here. So we can look back in pretty much all of history for crypto at every bear market that has existed. And then line, I want to just draw a line. I forget how to just doodle on this thing. Brush probably. Yep. So bear market, bear market, bear market. In case you need the lineups here. Let's see if we can make this a little more. Oops. Delete that one. There we go. So there, now you can see each year listed, so you get a better idea. And then here's this one, the longest ever. Now, recently, look at that, all the way back in January, we started spiking over 50. Everybody was excited for a moment, and then everything came crashing down. Now, if this is bottoming here, and we are starting a trend of actually seeing this going to go above 50 and stay above 50, like here and here, then we will actually see markets go up for crypto, for altcoins, for Ethereum. So essentially, yeah, we're waiting on the Russell 2000 and the PMI in order for this PulseChain chart to start actually looking decent and get back up into these lines. So yeah, it's been a long wait, very long wait. PulseX kind of looks like it's depressed too. You know, it's tied to Pulse by Hart's Law. And if you look at the actual purchasing it, RSI, okay. MACD and RSI. I just have a MACD loaded, but still. Okay, so we're in depressed area, below the moving average still, nothing exciting. What about the buy and burn? I thought you said there was going to be a buy and burn. Well, look at this low. Look at the dotted line. None of the other lows come down to this low. How about this low? Ooh, recent ones kind of touch that line. Let's have a look against Wrap Pulse. Oh, holy crap! So against Pulse itself, though, basically 0.26. So essentially, one Pulse token got you 4 PulseX tokens. If we go back about a year and a half ago, okay, in a year and a half, currently 84%. So now you only get one and roughly 19% of a 1.19 of a PulseX token instead of 4 tokens for that price. Like back here, you only got 2 tokens, 2 PulseX tokens instead of 4. We had our first doubling essentially by September, 9 months. Been a little long since, but the buy and burn is just chugging away. We've destroyed almost 7.2%, guys. That is some pretty impressive damage to the supply. Like, there is only 92.8% of the supply left circulating around and shrinking. So that's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome indeed. I mean, until again we see the actual Russell 2000 and BMI start picking up, we're kind of at a slug along, just pulling sideways, hoping that something changes, that things get better. So, meantime, though, there are a couple things that are going well on the chain, such as time. Now, again, this kind of looks like the PulseX chart, doesn't it? But we go down here, and the price is currently 3 times of our starting price and low, and then we move on up to our double low dotted line, and then, oh yeah, even last summer got back to it, and that is sacrifice price, essentially. Just pick up just a wee bit more there. That's sacrifice price right there. So I can draw a line right there for you guys, just to reiterate that. Close enough. So for everyone who got in on the time PulseChain sacrifice, you had a couple chances to actually buy it cheaper than the sacrifice, but not many. It has held up very resiliently over its sacrifice price over time. And why could that be? Well, I don't know. Let's have a look though at the Pulse side of this. Oh, this looks a lot more like the PulseX chart, where there has been no revisit. It's just higher low, higher low, higher low against Pulse. So I mean, they launched with essentially, yeah, I think they essentially gave their wallet, like, man, they launched with about a $1.5 million market cap kind of appraisal when they did their sacrifice. This is part of the reason you see the value appreciation of it. The other reason is how well they're doing, because, hey, fun things about the PulseChain sacrifices. Yeah, I got in on liquid loans and Power City. We'll come back to that in a moment. Guys, if you were around back at the beginning and you remember that there were over 100 projects going, sacrifice us money, give us money, we'll bring you a project, it'll be great, you'll love it, it'll be the best thing, it'll be huge. Well, you go back and you look at that list of how many of those actually came through and gave you a product. Oh, it was only a couple dozen. Like, over 100 just ran off. Goodbye with the money. Never even launched something. So now, getting into PulseChain community, crypto a little early, yeah, some of these projects might not have been done as well as I hoped, but every single one of them that I picked launched. So, Liquid Loans, Power City, Mintra, they have not seen the kind of use that they had hoped they would see. So their yield output has been really crappy, and it has tanked their market valuation. So essentially there just wasn't as much juice that they thought there would be to squeeze, essentially. Hello, BMI Russell 2000. Nobody's really kicking around. It's not an active bull market. But it does give us an indication that, you're going to use a lending borrowing protocol if you put $200 in, and then you're not allowed to use it unless you have $2,000 worth. So you're counting on a 10x on the chain before you even go use something like their protocols. If their oracles are running up to spec, and you don't have too much danger there with your loans, but essentially they're just not as popular. They're needed protocols. It would be great if they get used, especially with the war on stablecoins that's going to be preceding us as they fight the establishment to put us into the CBDC category of controlled digital currencies. So having our own native stablecoins, very important. Having even better oracles for them, very important. Especially after what we've seen go on with DAI, the P-DAI forked copy. And they managed to, wasn't exactly it turned into a minting bug. They were using all normal functions of the protocol, but only because of the tanked price and pre-existing vaults were they able to mint the crap out of it. But it did trigger the eventual protocol system of flooding the maker contact coin, just dumping it. So Actor came in, grabbed up those coins, shut down the mint exploit. The protocol is dead. The tokens are still there, and hey, people will speculate on when they speculate on. But essentially, there's no minting bug anymore, and they're just an inconvenient exploit, not necessarily in PDAI's code, but in what happens when it's unmonitored and allowed to tank. So the code itself thinks, because of the oracle, I'm overpriced by like 1000x, and in reality, it's underpriced by 1000x. So when these things try to resolve, it doesn't go so well. So thank God that the protocol is dead and cannot be infinitely minted anymore. So the tokens exist. The value people want to put on them is what they want to put on them, and whether or not it could ever be repaired, I'm not even going to speculate on. I'm pretty sure it's dead as a dead horse. But will people give it value? No idea. Not going there today. Point of this whole story with infinite minting bug rant and the different things of the protocol is we need stable coins. And so, hey, if the Power City Earn Pulse X lending protocol and the Liquid Loans protocol get some good oracles, really good oracles, I think they still have some potential to be decent products to use. Do I know if the market valuation is too low? Will their yield pick up? Will people use them? Are they worth buying? Don't know. Honestly, don't know. I hold my little portion. I never got rid of it in all these things that I got involved in. But I'm not satisfied with how they performed when I look at my portion of time dividend and I go, internet money. Yeah, guys. So I always get curious and I even tune in and I'm like, how's the meme coin doing? Oh, not a lot of love. This would be a great time probably to buy some. Look at that. Let's see how it looks against Pulse. Well, we're sitting right in about our average mean line, so technically there's been some better times to buy, but there are worse times to buy. So it's trekking along. Why I get interested in both of these, just even the meme coin, which has hardly any volume, but look at that, 100,000 market cap. That's for poor plebs like me. With all this low volume, the fun thing to look at is their stats. Now, Don, sweet Don, KG's father and business partner, well, he has a crying pillow. At least he told me he has a crying pillow, but he would not get rid of that crying pillow, which he puts his head in every night and cries himself to sleep. Will not get rid of this thing until they get over 100,000 downloads. Well, that was unexpected. Yeah, just hope that doesn't happen again. Anyways, yeah, as I was saying, over 100,000 downloads. Now that it's been 2 years since they launched. It's a lot of tears in that pillow, I'm sure. But we are finally nearing the mark. It's happening faster and faster where we're getting over 100 downloads a day now on average. And so, hey, 100 downloads a day We need 21,121 downloads. Wow, so that's less than 200 and that's just a little over 200 days. I mean, moving it at over 100 days, yeah, we're looking at less than 200 days. We might actually see that number cross before we hit the new year of 2026. So Don will finally be able to get rid of his crying pillow. I look forward to this. Don looks forward to this. Everyone looks forward to this. Now, the chain statistics, they have really bumped up this website. Just stats.internetmoney.io. Nice, clean, user-friendly, awesome. Now, you can look at everything combined, but I like PulseChain. So we sit here, and this is a really interesting concept that they've worked up. Basically, if you purchase at the beginning of the month versus if you purchase now, some of these things are broken out. Make them a little simpler. You can just see, oh look. Alright, cool. Let's do this by the 30-day though. Okay, so they've had 6% more swaps this month or last month, 11% more addresses actively swapping. That's cool. Month by month, however, dividend payouts have been a little less, so those swap sizes must have been smaller. There we go. Now this is affected, so the price of Pulse changes and the amount of USD collected. So you could potentially earn more Pulse than you were before and earn less USD if the price drops enough. Or if the price of Pulse is going up enough, you can earn more or less Pulse and still earn more USD, which is what that would indicate is our price increase over the last month. Projected yields month by month. Wow, you can't even get that on a bond or a savings interest loan, like 5% for bonds. That's the max there. So that's a pretty good yield year over year. Unclaimed dividends is a cool little fact, like how much Pulse is just sitting there. Interval yield. You know, I gotta pay more attention to KG's video on this and see what the interval yield is all about. There's where if you bought at start, bought at end. So yeah, these are some interesting little things. Now, even better is their little wallet tracker kind of thing here. So by token, you can see volume breakdown of the most swapped from the wallet or through our swap router, through their swap router. I shouldn't say our, very much like the product, but it's not mine. Alright. Top swappers by address, top swaps by DEX. So PETA's has been really active as an option for PulseChain. Then PulseX, V1, V2, and then the Uniswaps from Legacy Swapover, and then 9mm. Interesting. So there's some pretty decent statistics that are available here just looking at the base. And swap, look all the way down at that. But that is, oh wait, these are on Ethereum. Is it by network? Huh. I could filter by network. Okay, if I just want to look at PulseChain. Here we go. There, that's a little bit better. Alright. There are some really cool features on this, and then even the wallet is constantly expanding itself. It's absolutely amazing, the features that are on it. If you haven't downloaded it and tried it, you really should. The biggest complaint about the thing is that it doesn't have an in-app browser, so it doesn't connect directly to websites. It has to use Wallet Connect v2. Now, if an old website hasn't updated to the new Wallet Connect standard, they can't connect with Internet Money. And so not having that browser can be inconvenient. However, they are currently working, like that's the next update. I don't know if it's going to be released in 2 weeks, 1 week, 3 weeks, but it is the very next thing on their roadmap. And I think very shortly we are going to see that in-app browser. And at that point, they've got a fiat on-off ramp. They've got swap router, which actually tells you the cheapest DEX to buy it at. They've got a really clean interface, wonderful token add options that are already pre-options loaded for you. Basically, I'm like, this has everything MetaMask has and better almost. So I'm pretty sure after this, we'll probably see something along the lines of a portfolio tracker, which seems to be the major gripe of everyone. That's like, I can't even remember all the tokens I have. I just want a portfolio tracker. I just want to put my address in a bar. So I believe that's the next step probably for Internet Money after the browser. Of course, I haven't been on any of the company powwows for a while. None of the late night Telegram chats. Too much of the 9 to 5 for too long. However, if I can find a little bit of time, I will. Internet Money has been just totally kicking ass and taking names. Kicking ass and chewing bubblegum, and they're all out of bubblegum. Oh, I love that line. And if you don't know, that movie, well, I mean, he says that line all through his wrestling career, I suppose, but if you haven't seen that movie, you probably should. Just saying. You're a slave and you don't even know it. Piggyback to the governments, and they don't like you. Not even one bit. But it's alright. Because you don't have to like them either. And crypto gives you ways to not have to suck on middlemen D, as they say. So yeah, we've got a really, really awesome product coming along here with the wallet and all the activity on it. That means there are, like, PulseChain is its default network. It is the PulseChain wallet, but I mean, it works on all the AVMs. But these are the little things building that will eventually bring the interest and get the speculation of, are these things going to be worth even more money? So when we see the Russell 2000 finally start sparking off, and we finally see this BMI turning back around and claiming 50 and staying above it, and I stop getting pop-ups because I finally get a pop-up blocker, that's when I think we will see some actual fun times in crypto, some kumbaya moments. Everybody just getting along, yeah, dancing, elbows up. Well, not too high up, especially Sami or me, both of us. Very pointy elbows. Very pointy elbows. So yeah. We still have 70 streamers. Hexologist is still going all the time. Still absolutely hilarious. Mostly, as you can tell, I've been watching, listening to a lot of Hexologist and a lot of Sami in order to try and laugh my way through this bear market, because my sense of humor has been missing a little bit myself. It's hard for me to even want to come on and make a stream going, wow, yeah, this is a bit of a longer wait than I ever expected. I'm pretty sure I didn't have all these gray hairs in my beard at the beginning of this. Oh well, just a little bit longer. So, yeah, if you want to sit there and whine and complain at charts, these are probably the best ones to whine and complain at. And if they're not above 50 and you want to know why, this is where this is going to have more to do with your local congressman than it would doing with complaining at Richard. So write your local congressman and tell them you'll fire them if they, go more than 3% deficit over GDP. Those little ideas, those great ideas. They'll vote for somebody else if they can't be fiscally responsible and help the economy look more bolstering and manufacturing better in the United States. Then, yeah. So this based all around the economy, and we'll see. Deregulation might help stimulate this. It might help stimulate the Russell 2000, and we may get a whole brand new change of momentum and get out of this yucky bear market that we've been soaking through, that's just dragging us sideways and sideways and sideways like roadkill stuck to a tire. Sorry, that's probably too graphic, but I mean, How can you not have that kind of imagery come into your mind when you've been holding crypto for 4 years? It's not for the faint of heart. That is for sure. Now, before I end this, let's have a look. Oh, I already have to delete that trend line. That's, yeah, we went under it. That was completely useless. Goodbye. See, these lines, they mean nothing. It's like, are they going to be support? Nope. Goodbye. We chose lower. We chose lower. That's all right. Just a little lower. Just a little lower. You know, I might or may not have a limit order. Come on, just a little lower. Just, I may have a little money on the side, just waiting. I might see this line right here as another buying opportunity. Might be part of the reason I have these lines down here. Is like, oh, well, you know what? This is going to be a great price to buy. Because none of the whales even got that price when they started buying. This is a great price to buy, really, because the same thing. Just, we're rounding. Let's see what the day looks like. The day looks really suppressed. I can continue. See what the MACD looks like. See if I can get my hopes up here. Yeah, MACD is not so exciting territory at the moment. So it indicate we might still have some lower to go. Not seeing a turnaround in the chart here, but again, it doesn't matter as much as this chart or this chart. Now, hopefully we're not getting overextended, as the RSI would seem to indicate by the weekly right now. I'd really hate to think that it's our dead cat bounce and lower we go. That would be a really horrible scenario. So let's hope for deregulation and surging of the Russell 2000. That's where our hopes lie, folks. Hope you enjoyed my little rant showing off my new Internet Money shirt. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, stay frosty.